Good morning, crypto traders. Not if you're long. If you're short, you're loving this action here. It is big down day again today. But this is not really a flash crash like the day that Ethereum dropped $1,000 or Bitcoin dropped $10,000. That all happened in a very short period of time. This one is happening in slow motion. Okay, look at the volume already today. It is 7:15 a.m. in Central USA, which means we've got 11 hours and 45 minutes of volume to see. This could be huge volume down because right now, when I enter a trade like right here, the CCI gave the buy signal by crossing up through plus 100. Well, that one failed, but they do that sometimes. Okay. I thought it was going to go all the way to the upper, but volume right here on this day was low. Lower than the previous day. It should have been bigger. That's why the rejection at the middle Bollinger Band and the zero line of the CCI, where it happens quite frequently, especially on shorter term charts. But right now, Bitcoin is breaking below. If I had entered here where I usually do, just as the candlestick rises above the 7 moving average before it gets up to the 20 moving average, I would set my stop loss right here on the close of this day or this day, which are virtually, if you look over here at C, which is close, they're very close. I would pick the lowest one. So the close there is 44,851 and the close here is 44,947. You know, I really wouldn't want it to go below that day anyway. This one's a little too far back. I usually pick the first red candle to set my stop loss. So if I had entered here, okay, I would have lost a little on that. But I would have seen the CCI dropping back through zero and exited immediately. But my point is, in one day, we are down more on a percentage basis at minus almost 8% on Bitcoin. It was a green week last week, just barely. And right now, he's breaking below all support here on a closing basis. He's about to break support at the lows of the wicks of these candles. And if you measure from right here to the top here and then measure down, that's the target. Right here. A lot of support. There is no support except for possibly right here. And that's tiny at the low right here. That's very small support. Real support is set when it comes down hard, tags the middle Bollinger Band, and then goes up. So these 3 days, especially the close there and the open there, which should be virtually identical, that is your level of support. And the lower wicks are also important. You know, to break below the closing price or the open on that day is bad, but to close below the lower wicks is even worse. So there's 3 of them. All right here at about 37,247. Now, is it going to go all the way down there? I kind of doubt it. This might be it because the CCI is reaching a point where historically it doesn't go much below, 200 down on a daily chart. Let's take a look back here. I'm going to scroll back through time, and our reading right now, an average reading on a daily is about 200 down. So let's put it there. But the problem here is on a daily chart, the CCI can go down to 500 down. There it is. 400 down. There it is. 440 down. Just because it's only 100 down does not mean, okay, I've scrolled back all the way. I can't go any further. All right, so we see a 517, a 440, a 380. The next one is 357. But all of these in this area are roughly 200 down. So the question is it going to be a 200 down, a 400 down, or a 500 down? Okay, it all depends on the volume. And ETH is in the same position. He is broken below any reasonable stop loss limit order by breaking below the close here and the close. And basically the lower wicks here, here, and here. He's about to break below this very low reading on flash crash day. And his yield down, if you measure from right here to right here and then drop that much, also a level of support right here at about 2,500 with the lower wick at 24.25. Is it going to go down that low? Again, CCI limit down on the ETH daily chart is again about 400. These are things I know from 20 years of reading charts, and it applies to coins too, which I've been following for a couple of years. But as you can see, limit down on ETH isn't quite as low as Bitcoin. And when you limit down, that means it's oversold. It's time for a bounce. All of these lows are places where it reached a bottom and then went back up. So we're reaching a point where it's possible that we could be coming to an end of this fall. It all depends on volume, and right now I'm telling you, with today's volume this high, flash crash day was exceedingly high volume. We might get close to that today, and if that happens, we'll be in full-on crash mode. I made a video last night, talked for an hour about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and my favorite 9 altcoins. Unfortunately, nobody told me that my microphone was off, so I deleted that. Anyway, I pretty much predicted a down day today, but I had no idea it was going to be like this. Okay, the volume, as soon as I was making the video, he started dropping, because Sunday at 7 p.m. we get a new candlestick on the weekly chart and the daily charts. Okay, and last week, which ended 7 p.m. yesterday, Sunday, let's go up here. Okay, Bitcoin closed the week up right here. When you mouse over this candle, he was up 2.68% on the week, whereas ETH was down just about 3%, I think. Okay, it came back. It was 3.33 just before we got a new candle, but he rallied. That's right, that last hour. So ETH closed down 2.21% on the week. This week, he's already down 9.63%, and Bitcoin is down 8.35%. Okay. So, on the weekly chart, can't really say much about volume because the week's so new, but we have a double top on the CCI, and it's breaking down below this low here. It's now down here. Okay, so that's a lower low than that low. That's bearish. Or, for those that don't know, bull and bear, bullish is when you want the coin to go up, and bearish is when the pressure is to the downside, and the shorts are liking the action. So long is bull, and short is bear. Up is long, down is bear. Okay, so we're starting off the week very bearish. If the CCI gets down to the 0 line and breaks down through it, this is going to get really ugly unless we do a little dip, like a very small dip, like just below 0 and then back up. That would be kind of ideal at this point, or a bounce right here if you're long. But if it gets below 0 on the weekly chart, we are in serious long-term bear mode. We are going down. Anybody who says 65,000 Bitcoin by the end of September is wrong. And 500,000 Bitcoin, 5 million Bitcoin. Come on, people, get real. You can only really play the Bollinger Bands because they give you the upper and the lower limits on any time frame. So basically on the weekly chart, I don't even want to look at that. Neither do you if you are long. But the question is it time to buy yet? Okay, and my signals are starting to uptick. A bottom is usually called with super high volume. Here's another one. I think that was Litecoin fake news with Walmart Day. This was the $10,000 drop. You know, Bitcoin was at 53,000. He went down to 43,000 in one day. Mostly in about an hour and a half, actually. Okay, so what we're looking at here is levels of support that are being broken. That means this was a level of support. It was low. It's where it came down and bounced. Same thing here. So this level of support's broken. This one's broken. They're all broken except this low right here. And that only lasted for minutes. This bounce, when it dropped 10,000 points, within 15 minutes it was up 3,000 or 4,000. So this was flash crash intraday low that lasted for only 10 or 15 minutes. And it already came down and tested that and passed. Okay, this is about as good of a test as that low as possible. And then it went way up for, these are 4-hour candlesticks. So each candlestick represents 4 hours. So we have been down 16 hours with increasing volume. And the biggest volume I expect to be at the next low. Okay, it's almost as big as this day, but that Litecoin news created a tremendous amount of market activity and dollar volume and turned out to be a complete hoax. You know, when you see a press release from Globe Newswire, you can't trust it. That's where people pay. Anybody can post a press release there if they pay. And, you know, trust is important, and that really kind of blew it for coins, to be honest. Okay, right now, ETH is breaking all levels of support. He's now below here. And Ethereum has been leading the way down, pulling Bitcoin down with it. I don't know what their problem is. They got lots of problem. I'm a miner. I don't like Ethereum. I'll trade it. I'll mine it. But I don't like them. And as soon as they go to Ethereum 2.0 and kick the miners to the curb after we built their little empire for them, and only the rich can play that coin to be a validator. You know, that's totally anti-crypto, the whole philosophy. You know, and the way they treat the miners is just, they hate us with a passion. Okay, but they couldn't have done what they did without us. So now the question is, okay, we got CCI upturning. I don't trade the 4-hour chart. I like the 1 hour. The 4 hour is just way too slow. But let's take a look at the 1 hour. Okay, we're getting the volume that we had. I'm going to zoom back out, way out. So let's mark this this volume way up here. I'm putting my mouse over the line, and then we're going to zoom out. And as you can see, the volume now is about as big as it was at that low. Okay, but this, and this crash is way too vertical. This is straight down, and there's going to be a bounce of at least 33%, 50%, 66 or 7%. It could go all the way back 100%. I've seen that happen too, but you know, I'm not expecting that here. That's for day trading. Anyway, we're in trouble here, folks. We are going to get a little bounce here soon, but is it going to be the real bottom? Because right now, riding below the 7 moving average is extremely bearish. Okay, bouncing up to the middle Bollinger Band and down to the lower Bollinger Band is also bearish. But when you get to the point where you're below the 7 moving average for an extended period of time, okay, and the chart becomes vertical, I mean straight up and down. Right here was a little sideways, but now we're reaching vertical cliff diving. Okay, the cliff dive started here when he broke support. Okay, he broke below support in this area, and volume came in and crash. So, what kind of signals do I look for? Okay, first of all, I look for the volume. And it's reaching a point, 15,000 ETH and 750 Bitcoin in 15 minutes. That's pretty huge volume. And what I'm seeing is a bullish divergence where this low of the CCI at about 400 down. Okay, remember the price is falling as this is happening. The price is lower, but the CCI is higher. The price here is much lower, but the CCI is higher. The price is lower here, but the CCI is higher. And it's trying to get up to the buy signal area where you're going to get a bounce. The buy signal is when it comes up through minus 100 after being below it. And you are almost always going to get a bounce to the middle Bollinger Band when that happens. So for day trading, each one of these signals would have worked, but not very well. So, but with this big volume, it's kind of calling, okay, this is enough. Or is it? Okay. This is, I'm not touching this right now. I think there is a definite possibility of more downside to go. But when you see this kind of huge volume, 400 Bitcoin in 5 minutes, and that's only at Coinbase. When you go to somewhere else like Bitstamp, okay, you've only got like 40 coins. But then you go to somewhere like FTX if they're listed. And I'm not real sure why they have so much volume. This really can't be real unless it's a combination of every possible exchange. And this is the total volume. I don't know what FTX is. I've never used them. But, 14.96 million Bitcoin. I don't think that can be real. Anyway, I need to look into that. But, Coinbase is a pretty good indication of what's going on with 400 Bitcoin in 5 minutes. Let's see what Binance says, because they're huge. Okay, oh my goodness, 8,000. We're looking at 10,000 Bitcoins in 5 minutes. But the volume's been huge ever since the initial crash. Okay, when you go back here, there's no volume. So the volume started coming in here. Okay. And that was 5:30 yesterday. 6 p.m. and this is Central USA time. So by the time I did my video at it was the change of candlestick time. So that was 1900, 7 p.m. my time, Central. We got a new candle. Okay, so right then the volume started picking up. This is a massive sell-off, folks. This is dumping, shorting. They are taking out everybody's stop loss limit order that is trying to protect their balance while America sleeps again. And it looks like there may be no end in sight at this particular moment. Let's get on the same time frame. And I'm also on Binance over there, so let's switch because they have more volume. Except I really don't like the way they add a bunch of zeros sometimes. Okay, they didn't do it that time. All right, so we're Bitcoin 15, Binance. Okay, so when you look at Binance with their, huge volume coming in here. I mean, this is massive volume, folks. The whales are shorting big time and making a killing. All right, let's just, for a moment, compare volume. See, I'm still kind of, I trade on Binance US, and ever since they separated us from this kind of volume with a high right here of 30,000 Bitcoin in 15 minutes, Look what happens when we go to Binance US. We're looking at 200 at the most. And this is where I have to trade. And Coinbase. Okay, so let's go back to the real Binance because they have the biggest volume. I'm just showing you that average volume is nothing unless they had a glitch here. You know, I mean, sometimes they have glitches on these charts. Let's just pick another one at random, Gemini. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing all over. The volume fell off and it started to crash. Okay, Bittrex is another one that's small, but as you can see, all the volume started around the same time on every exchange. So these guys are in cahoots with each other and they plan all of these moves and they make sure they cover every exchange that's out there. And when you look at this list for Bitcoin, I mean, this is just what TradingView lists. And they're not all US dollar, but they're Tether, they're contracts up, contracts down, futures, you know. There's a lot of ways to trade. And when volume falls off, these exchanges want to create volume so that they make money. If there's no volume, they're not making money. And who owns the exchanges? Look that up. Okay, so I was going to mark buy and sell signals on these charts, and I still might. But right now we are getting ridiculously vertical. And I'm expecting a bounce. I'm a day trader, and I kind of live for dumps like this. But with this kind of volume and this intensity, I'm going to sit this one out because it's too volatile. And too easily, you know, entering a trade, it'll go against you immediately. I'll wait for things to settle down. And that might take a while, but I'm going to leave these charts running. And if I see anything, I'm going to put an arrow on the chart where I buy just for a day trade today. I'm not entering a swing trade position on a day where it's dumping like this, because on a daily chart it takes, after a down move, it usually takes 2 or 3 days to stabilize. But we're in the mode right now where it's broken all support on the daily chart. Just about. On there, yeah, let's blow it up a little and take a look. Way below that one. That was the low. So we blew it there. All support is broken. Next level of support I see is right at the bottom of that candle. And guess what? We're already below that. Next level of support on Bitcoin is roughly 38,000 to 37,000. We are down on the CCI only 175. And like I showed you, it goes down to 400 or 500. And at this point, I'm expecting at least 250 to 3 at this point, maybe more. Ethereum down 175 also. Volume not that noticeably larger than Bitcoin's. Bitcoin is getting up there already. Look, I mean, this is kind of average volume right here. And he'll exceed this day by far. That was Litecoin flash crash day, I believe. And they added some liquidity to the market on that fake news, didn't they? Which also gave crypto kind of a bad name. That might have something to do with this. I mean, people fell for that hook, line, and sinker. And I mined Litecoin and was extremely surprised to see it move from about $180 up to $225 in the matter of minutes, because Litecoin's a real slow mover. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference between a flash crash and a slow motion crash like this. See, this one has time to fall. Get the buy signal right there, minus 100 buy signal. Hit the middle Bollinger Band, get some big volume, fall. Get the buy signal, go to the middle Bollinger Band and fall. But this is becoming vertical. And the volume's really not getting big enough. The volume's going to have to be bigger than these to set the bottom, by far. And it looks like we might be approaching that point. Okay, but I'm trying to go back to the day of the flash crash for... Okay, I'm going to start with the hourly charts. It's easier to find that way. And there it is. Okay, so we're going to zoom in. This was the Litecoin flash crash. This was the $10,000 flash crash. Okay, and as you can see, let's go ahead and get that too. All right. I exited right here. It was 4 in the morning when I got up. It dropped. I sold it 9 a.m. after the double top. Okay, so it fell from, roughly 53,000, and it dropped 2,000 on this drop. Okay, and then it did a double top, which is the M shape. You can't see it unless I blow it up a little more. And then here is 15 minutes. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. This is a flash crash, okay, from the breakdown of support right here. Okay, the high was 50, let's say 51,000, and in half an hour it was down to 43,000. Okay, so that's how quickly Bitcoin can fall. The high here was 50,000, almost 900. This was 43,000 right here. Okay, so in half an hour, Bitcoin fell $7,500. Okay, that's not what's going on here. And then if you look at the flash crash, it was over in half an hour. It went up from 44.6 to 46.9. And this is a 1 hour chart. Sorry, not a 15-minute. Okay, but it was back down, okay, in the next hour. All right. And it fell from a high of 46.9 to a low of 43.3 in 1 hour. This red hour here. Okay, so what's going on now is different. It's a slow motion. We're not seeing the kind of move down. Okay, there's the volume I'm looking for on Bitcoin. And we are not on Binance. Let's fix that. I wondered why the volume was so low. Okay, it looks like they might have had a glitch right here with volume. That happens. Bitstamp's pretty big. All right, that looks better. And oh, Bitstamp. I was thinking Bittrex. Okay, volume. Nope, not there yet. Okay, so Bitcoin can fall $7,500 on the flash crash day in 2 hours. And what we have here is a 1 hour chart. So each candlestick is an hour, and it's only down in the last 2 hours from 44.6 to 42.3. That's not $7,500 in 2 hours or $10,000 in 4 hours. Okay, this is kind of a slowly sliding down the slippery slope. And now it's getting faster and faster. So, and whenever it goes vertical, it's time for a bounce, but these bounces are so weak. They are just, there's no bouncing here. It stopped bouncing up to the middle Bollinger Band right here. And just couldn't even get above the 7 moving average at all, which is just as bearish as you can be. But this could be a nice bounce right here. So I'm going to leave it on the 15-minute chart, I believe, because this is where I get my first signals. Unless I'm scalping, and then I use the 5-minute chart. But when the market is really active and volatile, you can use a longer time frame like this on the 15-minute chart to day trade. You're going to get, every time you get a buy signal at minus 100, except for right now, see it failed to do it on this bounce to the middle Bollinger Band. But you're going to get a little bounce, and these little bounces are sideways bounces. They're not even vertical. So I'm looking for the first vertical bounce, and it's going to have to clear the middle Bollinger Band and head on up to the upper one to even get me interested here. Because we're about to get a buy signal now. And, you know, the chart has been bearish, fully bearish, under zero from here to here. So I'm not even interested until he shows some sign that he's going to enter bullish territory and want to go up above zero here. Because that is a pretty much guaranteed buy signal. That when you get in there, it will go up. Because the bottom has been put in and he's already getting some momentum. And I can show you that by zooming back a little. When times were good, you know, anytime you're above zero on the CCI, the coin is going to go up from there to there. This was the sell signal when it dropped below zero. Here was another period where it rose above zero and the price went up. Okay. Also, this time it went up for 45 minutes that time. And then a bunch of whipsaw. But right here was a nice run up when the CCI broke above zero. Okay, and possibly even this one. No, not much. But it did go up, and it went up there, and it went up a little there. And it didn't that time, so that was a sign. Okay, we could be starting a short-term bottom right here by getting very close to minus 100 and breaking above, for the first time in a while, the 7 moving average, the yellow line. That is my primary buy signal that I usually use on the 5-minute chart. And it's already given it there. And we're starting to see signs of a bounce with volume. Okay, and it's good to move around a little and check the other exchanges for volume. The chart's not going to change. They're international. But depending on where, you know, you have to trade, I always look at the other exchanges to see if they're agreeing. Okay, so here's the first buy signal since right here that was a total failure. Okay, but this time it's getting some volume. That's what you want to see, increasing volume in an uptrend. And he's about to go into bullish territory or go up territory when he gets above zero. Or he's going to find resistance at the middle Bollinger Band and stay in bearish territory below zero. Okay, but that's a pretty good bounce right there. There was the buy signal on this candle. I usually buy right here as soon as it breaks above the 7 moving average before it gets to the middle Bollinger Band or 20 moving average, because that's where it will meet resistance more times than not. But with the volume we're starting to see on Bitcoin, we could be looking at a real good entry here. Now, I'm out of all my swing trade positions. I do hold Bitcoin from when I started mining in early 2020. And I started mining Ethereum at the beginning. I switched Antminer models and went to Ethereum at the beginning of this year. About February of 2021, I moved to Ethereum. Okay, so it looks like a little bit of rejection action here. Tall upper wick. Bears are winning. Pushing it down. So at this point, on this 5-minute chart, I wouldn't even think of entering until it entered bullish territory above zero. And it could. You know, I'm liking the volume I'm seeing here. Could be covering. The shorts are starting to cover here. And they'll go long also at the bottom. If they were short and they drop it like a rock and they cliff dive it, first of all, they have to buy to cover. Then, if they are all together on the same page, okay, at 8 p.m. we're gonna start buying to cover. After, you know, just before 8 a.m. Sorry, or whatever time they're in, we're gonna finish covering, and at 8 a.m. Central USA, we're gonna start buying again, because this would be a great place to buy at the lower Bollinger Band. First of all, they just took out every stop loss limit order from here to here. Anybody trying to protect their balance and say, I will not let it go below here, or here, or here, or here, wherever they set their stop loss at the close that day, at the close that day. All right. Breaking below support right here would have been where I would have done it, and I've still got some arrows there. See, I had some buy signals there from the other day that I forgot. Okay, they became sell signals right here when the CCI crossed back down through zero before the dump. See that? It crossed down this day, which was yesterday. Okay, so on the daily chart, I love to buy at the lower Bollinger Band. Right here, I bought this day, and I sold this day. And I've shown that in other videos, my real trading history. And then I sat out. I actually sold this day, but Bitcoin was going up this day, so I got back into ADA because of the smart contract coming up the next day. Oh, yeah, that was that day, wasn't it? Or no, this was El Salvador. Bitcoin day for El Salvador was the day they dropped it $10,000 to make El Salvador look dumb. Okay, that's the financial cartel that rules the dollar. They want cryptos to look bad. They don't want to lose their power on the dollar, and they are. So they try to make it look bad, drive the price down. They're trying to accumulate down here and wipe everybody out, which is what they're doing right now by breaking below every low. All of the stop loss orders are in there. All those coins are now in institutional hands, and retail is being pushed out. Okay, the volume today is extraordinary already. And it's not a flash crash. It's a regular move. So if you are long or predicting higher prices for Bitcoin, this is a double top chart pattern right here that when it yields could easily go down to about 2,500 on ETH, and you know, this is a level of support. Do you see any level of support up to here? Yeah, well, it's there right now. That's not a real big one either. Bitcoin has broken below this tiny level of support and has none down to here. Watch out, folks. Don't be fooled by the people who say Bitcoin can only go up and up and up and up to 65,000, 100,000, 500,000. I'm hearing $1 million and $5 million predictions for Bitcoin. And the people on YouTube who are doing that are not helping you one little bit. Okay, they are giving bad advice. The day of the flash crash, the biggest, I won't mention any names, but the biggest YouTube channel guy said for crypto said, well, what should I start off with? And his partner said, don't panic, don't sell. Okay, well, that was pretty bad advice, if you ask me. These people who hold all the time, I'll never understand it. I mean, down 10 million on that day? I don't think I could have put up with that very well. See, I never let a trade go negative if I can avoid it. If it doesn't work right away, I get out. It's not like the stock market where you have to wait 3 days for your funds to settle. You can turn right around and use that money immediately. So there's no real, and commissions are cheap. There's no reason not to be trading in and out of this. Buy low, sell high. Okay? I don't short. I don't believe in it. I've never used margin. I've never wanted anything that I believe in to go down, and I'm disappointed on days like this. But, you know, could be a beautiful buying opportunity. Because look at the CCIs. They're already up 25 points. This could be the bottom, folks. They were down 175. They're both at a minus 150, which is a little surprising, but understandable. The buyers are coming in right now at the lower Bollinger Band. But on a daily basis for a swing trade, this will not settle down for 2 or 3 days to the point where I would be interested. So we're going to have to set a doji. So one down day like this, okay, requires another and another to go test that low. So it'll go up a little and maybe it'll come down. But overall, this is a very bearish pattern. And I'd be very happy to buy, to load up everything I have in cash right now on ETH at 2,400. Because ETH is digging its own grave right now. They're not going to come out with ETH 2.0 in time. It's been delayed for 3 years. What makes them? And they just had a major upgrade with the London upgrade, and it's way too soon to do another big upgrade like that. I think it'll be first quarter of 2023 before ETH finally gets around to kicking the miners to the curb and only letting node validators create blocks and get all the rewards. So we're getting a pretty good bounce here, which is nice to see. And I am still seeing a bullish divergence on the CCI. Because look at the low of the CCI, at the lowest right here, and the price up here. Okay? And the price crashes all the way down to here. But guess what? CCI upticking. This low here has a long lower wick. That's a hammer. Not quite. The body's too big. It's not high enough. A perfect hammer looks like more like this with a smaller body. There's one. That's a hammer right there at the bottom. Okay. It's got a very long lower wick and a small body. Smaller the body, the better. But no, that's good. The lower wick is 2 or 3 times larger than the body. So that's here's another one. They're bullish. When you have a long lower wick like that, can be very bullish. And let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Same thing. And the volume's at the highest. This could be the bottom, folks. Now again, you got to remember that I'm on Bitstamp here, and volume here is not going to be the same. The chart will be the same, but Coinbase. Let's go there because their volume is pretty massive. And I usually stay on Coinbase or Binance US. Okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah, the volume's here. This could be the short-term bottom. It just depends on what kind of bounce we get. Okay, so they did breach all levels of support here. This is a new low for this entire area. hour is almost over, folks. So this candlestick is not as big as this, so volume is diminishing on the sell-off. We're about to get a new candlestick on the, let's see, 8 o'clock. That should be a new candlestick for this hour, even though it's a 4-hour chart. We'll definitely get a new candlestick here. So let's see. Big, huge volume. Okay, there it is. Let's see which way it goes. Still not touching this. But I am seeing bullish divergences on almost every chart. Okay, the low of the CCI here, price is high. Right here, CCI is equal, price is much lower. Price is lower, CCI is higher. Price is lower, CCI is higher. Okay, when it crosses up through zero, for real, with buy volume, we're looking for green volume now. Okay, and the movement, the Momo of the down move is slowed down. Okay, it's not falling quite as fast. Okay, there's some green volume. Still doesn't look like a bottom. If it is a bounce, it'll probably be only to the middle Bollinger Band, like here and here. Same thing. Rejected at the middle Bollinger Band twice, and then under the 7, not even getting to. It's time for a bounce to the middle, but it won't change trend until it hits the upper one time. And then we'll see. So I'm going to leave it here. The 5 minutes a little too quick. That's for scalping trades. And things are moving a little too hot and heavy for me to consider that with 1F. Okay, so we're getting, under the 7, super bearish. A bounce to the middle Bollinger Band, better. Here's another bounce. Getting rejected though, back below 0. Okay, so down we go again. Wow. But at least the volume's falling off, signaling possibly the end of the trend. So we're going to just put it right here on the 15. That's a good medium time frame where you can get a pretty good look of kind of short term and longer term all in one. I'll be switching charts from time to time, but I need some coffee. I'm going to go get a cup. I'm going to be quiet for a while and just watch. I'll leave this running all day. I haven't even looked at chat. I haven't looked at anything. I'm just talking right now. I don't see anybody chatting, I don't think. No. Okay, so if you want to look at your coins, let me know. I'll put them up on the chart and do an analysis of them. But they're all the same. They're all following Bitcoin as usual, I'm sure. Okay, we might be starting to see a little bit of bottoming action here. This is the first time the 7 moving average has turned up on this chart, except for right here, and that was a weak sideways bounce. Low volume, lowest volume of the day right here, down. Okay, forget it. Not working. Okay, volume falling off is good. That means hopefully that was the bottom. Okay, it doesn't look like it's going to make it because the CCI is turning down here. It never got above the 0 line into bullish territory. It could though. One more test of this low right about here at the lower Bollinger Band, and then a breakout above this high, and I'm pretty much calling a short-term bottom, though I do look at other time frames when I do this. I might actually try to enter ETH with not a full coin at this point because I'm not sure. I would probably go with my usual 0.333 and then do that 2 more times as I become more and more sure this is the bottom. I really haven't entered anything since selling out that day. Well, I sold that day and then bought in because Bitcoin was moving up. That was Labor Day weekend. Bitcoin broke out to new highs right here the day before the flash crash. It was a Sunday, I believe. Flash crash was the holiday. It was Monday. It was Bitcoin Day in El Salvador. So I bought in here, and because Bitcoin didn't go up and ETH ran sideways on the hourly chart for 4 days, I think it was 5, 6, I forget. It was the longest sideways consolidation I've ever seen. Right here, look at the date at the bottom. Okay, that's, let me get that a little better. Okay, one reason I knew it was in trouble was because ETH did not go up like Bitcoin did. Okay, we're getting near. See, Bitcoin right here went up while ETH was running flat, and that was very unusual. Even though it was a holiday weekend, I knew something was wrong. Okay, so Bitcoin here before the flash crash. Center that. And the date was down here at the 3rd. Okay, so these were very long consolidations. Okay, so right here at the end, I believe this was the 6th. I think that was a Sunday. No, it was a Monday. Okay. Anyway, Bitcoin went up this day, and ETH refused to. And he was ranging $100 from the lower to the upper for 5 days, from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 4 days. Okay, and that kind of sideways action is unheard of without some kind of breakout to the upside or down. And I knew it was in trouble because Ethereum usually follows Bitcoin. And on this instance, it didn't. And then at 4 in the morning, it did its first drop. I was sleeping. I woke up down 200 from my second entry. And this was a double top chart pattern where it shaped like an M. You can see it better on a 15-minute chart. And I drew my line in the sand right here. But as volume started to increase on the 15-minute chart, I knew it was going to break down. And I sold moments before the first huge crash. Okay, so charts do help support levels when they breach. Like right here, this was a support level. that got taken out and down. This was a support level that got dropped below and down. Altogether, this was 53,000 to 43,000 in a matter of hours. Okay, so hourly chart also seeing that bullish divergence with higher highs, higher lows on the CCI as the price falls. Same here. Upticking lows, price crashing. So that is telling us the bottom is getting close here. At least a short-term bottom. Now, until any one of these charts breaks above the zero line and enters bullish territory, I'm staying out because it just can't seem to do it, you know. And you don't enter a swing trade on a 5-minute chart. This is for day trading only. And there's that first initial turn up of the 7 moving average. So we got the buy signal right here with CCI above zero. And the sweet spot is right here between the 7 and the 20 moving averages before it breaks up. As soon as it, okay, breaking above this level of resistance is bullish. He's getting volume. So this was the first attempt at a turnaround. This was the first uptick of the 7 moving average up through the 20. But it's going to meet resistance at this upper Bollinger Band unless this buy volume starts to get up in this zone here. So all the huge volume at the bottom, that's the shorts covering. Okay, they're buying to cover. Now they're buying to go long. This is their game, folks. They're trying to stop everybody out and steal your coins. I see it. On the stock market, in 20 years of trading the stock market, I never saw anything like this. They would always, I mean, they know how to read charts, these institutions. And the guys running the show here now are kind of, they're blowing it by, well, they have an agenda. But to make a chart look not so bad, you don't totally ruin it by breaking below all levels of support. But that's their game now. They want everybody's stops to be picked up. And they're doing a great job of it, by the way. They have the power to move the market at will. And it's an organized effort. As always, the people with the big money are running the show. They're moving it up and down at will. You know, that's what the people, the institutions will do. Okay, looking pretty decent here. The bleeding has stopped, I will say that much. Is it time to buy? No. Not until I see the 15-minute get above zero on the CCI. We've got a ways to go there. It'll have to go up and tag the upper Bollinger Band on the... if it keeps getting rejected at the middle like it did here, here. I went to the upper that time, but 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections at the middle Bollinger Band. So in order to show strength on this chart, it would have to hit the upper Bollinger Band like it did on the 5-minute. Okay, and now it's probably going to get rejected here because CCI turning down. If it crosses down through plus 100, probably go back down. Okay, with volume diminishing. Okay, first of all, people need to get over the shock of this fall. And they're not going to start buying until they're sure that the crash has slowed down and stopped and has turned around. So we're going to go into a period here of slower volume until people realize that possibly the bottom has been hit. For people who swing trade, I day trade and swing trade, we love to buy the lower Bollinger Band. Okay, when the CCI dips below minus 100 and then crosses back up through it, like right here. And the sweet spot again is right here as it breaks above the 7 moving average before it gets in this little triangle where the dotted white line, that's a 20 moving average. Okay, right before the 7 crosses up through the 20 in this little triangle area. Any one of these two candlesticks. Okay, as soon as it gets above the 7 moving average on the daily chart, you get the crossover. The next candle above 0. So you get the primary buy signal at minus 100 when it goes up through that, and then you get a secondary buy signal, or my favorite. This is the for sure go up signal. Okay, and then it's confirmed with the third buy signal when it gets above plus 100. Saying like here, plus 100 up. Here's above 0 buy signal on that day. And here's the breakout on huge volume above all kinds of resistance when it gets above plus 100 on this day. Huge volume. Breakout above all highs. All this resistance got taken out. Price went up. The volume is what did it. Okay, bleeding has stopped. We're not going to see a 10,000 down day, but how much did we lose today already? The people holding 47.6 down to a low of 42.6, let's say. So that was $5,000 down. Ooh. Wow. And so that should be 100 down on F. 33.70. Okay, wait. 33, the high of the day was 33.70, and the low of the day was over here. You can read that all right here, high, low, when I mouse over that candle. So 33.50 to 2,900. My goodness, that was a little more than 100. That was $400 down. About. Oh yeah, that's right. It should have been 500. If Bitcoin drops 1,000, ETH drops 100. If he goes down 10,000, ETH goes down 1,000. Okay, from 39.50 to 29.50, let's say. Okay, so that's a huge loss on ETH also. And look at the volume, folks. It's only 8:25 a.m. in central USA, and we get a new candlestick on the daily chart at 7 p.m. So we've got like 10 and a half hours to go for volume to get larger and larger. Okay, and that's what you want to see at bottoms. So we're getting a nice bounce here, folks. Not calling the bottom here, but it looks like the bleeding is over for the most part. We got a green candlestick on the 4 hour. Okay. CCI upturning. Should look a little better on the hourly. Only 15 away from a buy signal on the hourly chart here when it gets above minus 100, and about the same, minus 117. We want to see a minus 99.99 and a break above the 7 moving average. Okay, but on the hourly chart we'll be lucky to get a bounce to the middle Bollinger Band. On the 15-minute chart we're going to get that first. It needs to clear the middle and hit the upper to signal strength. On the 5-minute, it's probably done that already, yeah. So what's it going to do here? Reject or... Okay, in order for it to continue up, see, hitting the upper Bollinger Band is like... the lower Bollinger Band is the bed you jump on, and the upper Bollinger Band is the ceiling you hit your head on. And it takes volume to, first of all, turn the upper Bollinger Band up, where it'll move up a little and say, come up here and tag me. I'm available. I've got open space here. Like there's open space to here right now. And a break above this high, you know, is a new high since the bottom. So this is a little double bottom, a cup and handle chart pattern, and we need to see bigger volume and a break above plus 100 for that buy signal. But again, this is a day trader's chart. And right now, I will say it has turned. It made the first move, okay? It did the first crossover of the 7 yellow moving average up through the dotted 20 moving average right here. You can see it here also. But it hasn't done it on the 15 yet. The 15 is now just starting to turn up. Possibly. It finally flattened out. But see, just because it flattens out doesn't mean it's up. We could be looking at just another rejection at the middle Bollinger Band here. But the volume, I'm liking the volume now. It's starting to pick up. Okay, that chart got too vertical. It really needs a bounce. For the 1 hour to get up here to the middle Bollinger Band, that would be bullish. That would be a very nice turn there. And I'd probably be entering on the 15 minute. This would be a swing trade. May last just a day. You know, but on the daily chart, if I entered here, where would I exit? See, I don't really have any support levels to go on now other than the low of today. I wouldn't let it go. If I entered today, I wouldn't never let it go below the low of today, which is exactly, another very odd number, 42,500. Like it was planned. You know, what was the low here on this day? Or was it the high? One of them was just, could have been another exchange, but, you know, it's like, we're going to drop ETH to, you know, $3,000 today, and then bounce it. Okay, where'd they go? How did, what's the low? 29.11. Okay. Well, maybe not. So, did we breach all levels of support? And there's a number of them right here. That's a low, that's support, these lows. And then we went below it today. All of them. And on ETH, there is no support back until the close of this day. This red day here at 2508.31. But I don't expect it to drop that far. The chart patterns clearly show a double top where it goes up. This is like an M. It goes down to the middle part of the M. Here's the right side of the M. And then the breach below neckline support right here sends it down to potentially here. Just the way I measure things, from the low there to the high here, and then measure that down. And then there's no support in this area. This is support here, right there at the open, and right there at the close, and at the lows of the lower wick of the candlesticks. So, okay, it looks like the crash is over, maybe, for now. Now it's a period of people going, has it finished falling yet? Can I buy now? Boy, this would be a great place to buy. I would love to own ETH again at 3,000. You know, I sold them up here at, I forget. Well, I could bring it up, but you're probably not interested in my trading history other than, I do know what I'm doing. I bought here and I sold here. Okay, I bought the next day but sold right before the crash. Lost 200 on that, but I started with $2,300 right here and ended up with $5,300 right here. I had 6 coins. Okay, so that's a pretty good bounce here, folks. Let's get on the same time frame. Wow, we still don't have one buy signal here yet at minus 100. But it was down, I think 175. Last time we looked it was 150, so it's making a pretty good comeback. I think I'll leave it on this time frame while I go take a little break. The 5 minutes should be at the upper right now. Yeah. Okay, so this is starting to look like an inverse head and shoulders, where it drops down, sets the first shoulder, goes up, so, and then drops down to, this is the head. It goes up, it forms the right shoulder, which is usually a little bit higher than the left shoulder, but when it breaks out above this area right here, which is, resistance at the bodies, and then you got some resistance at the upper wick of the candles. Once it breaks above there with some volume, it could really take off. Okay, because people are finally beginning to realize that the shorts have covered, okay, with increasing volume. There's a little bit of final covering in here. Then they switch to buying, okay, and then they're going to push it up now that they have your money, your coins, because they broke below every level of resistance today and took out every stop loss ever. So we're actually getting sell signals here. But 5 minute chart's too fast to, we're talking swing trading today. When is it time to re-enter? And this is a really, really good time frame. Somewhere in the middle between a day trade and a swing. Now the question is it going to be another rejection at the middle Bollinger Band, like here, 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 and not here. These went from the lower to the upper, like usually happens. It's really weak. It's a downtrend when you can't get above the middle Bollinger Band. It just bounces to it. A drop, a bounce, a drop, a bounce, another drop, a bounce. It just, and when it's going up, it's exactly the opposite. It will stay above the middle Bollinger Band. Bounce from the middle to the upper, drop a little, middle to the upper, new highs, middle to the upper, new highs. You can see them all over the place. Okay, we're getting very close to a primary buy signal on the hourly chart. When it breaks up above minus 100, we got about 15, 20 points to go. Right here. The volume's coming in on the buy side now. Shorts have covered. They're buying now to go long, it looks like. They made their money for the day. They can go away. If they think retail's going to jump in right now, probably not. It's all them today so far. Because America just woke up a couple hours ago, and as you can see, it's been down for hours. This breakdown happened at about this time yesterday. So when it broke below here, that was, 5 p.m. my time, Central USA. And it's been down many, many, many hours. Okay. So I'm going to mark on this chart. It might be one of these head fake buy signals. See, this one worked great. And it was also a bullish divergence where we're looking at here. Like the lows get higher as the price continues to fall. And the same thing happened here. Okay. Not counting this one. We're starting from right here where it broke below this support. Okay, and started the fall here. Okay, but what happened was this low is very low on the CCI and the price is there. Okay, the price is much lower here, but the CCI is much higher. The price continued down to the low here, and the price was about the same. But as you can see, as it approaches the minus 100 line and then crosses up through it, okay, you're in right here. When it closes, okay, it rose above minus 100. Okay, so you're in right here in the sweet spot between the 7 and the 20 moving averages, pretty much anywhere in here. And then you get the for sure buy signal where it almost always goes up, because the bottom. This says the bottom may be in, and then it goes up a little and then drops again, and you're stopped out. I would set my stop if I bought right here, right at this red close. Okay, so if it goes up, hits the middle Bollinger Band and then comes down, you're out. Actually, you're out before that because you want it to get this signal here, which is almost always a very nice signal, saying that the bottom has been formed and is questionable at this point, but it's formed. Right here, it's go time, folks. You look at a CCI on any time frame, it works. So this is the best signal. It doesn't always work, especially when you're in a serious downtrend. But look how much it went up here. Okay, if you had jumped in on the primary buy signal on this day, okay, when it closed above the 7 moving average at 3,402, all right, and then immediately it got the 0 line buy signal, and immediately got the plus 100 buy signal, and that's only 2 candles away. That's like 2 hours of 3 hours of straight buy signals, 3 in a row, one there, one here, and one here. And then it goes up and up and up. So you're in at 34.02 and it goes up to $35.50, $150 profit with 1F. Okay, so, it works. Now we're waiting for this minus 100. Get above that, and for sure the dump is over. Whether it goes up to or not much more is all about volume, and we're getting some pretty good volume if you look here, and but this is just one exchange. Pretty good volume here compared to before, all the way back. So I'm calling a bottom here, folks. Take your chances entering on the 15-minute. You're waiting for the first sign of bullish activity would be a serious upturn on the 7 moving average. It's approaching the 0 line buy signal. I would wait for that because this whole period from pretty much here to here has been solid under zero and a solid down. So the first sign of above zero from this point to here has been below. So you really want to see it turn to bullish by rising above zero and actually going up towards plus 100. I really want to see a move to the upper Bollinger Band, which in the next hour or so will be dropping. So it'll probably get up to about 3150 or so, 3175, and that would be good. That would be the first sign that we are turning things around here, and might be a good time to enter a swing trade position. But again, where do you set your stop? There are no support. We broke below all support today. Broke below that low, that low. Okay. So if you entered today, you cannot let it go below the low. And if it goes up tomorrow, I would move my stop up to wherever today's close is. Because like I said, if I had bought on this buy signal, okay, on this day right here, my stop would have been on the close of this day right here, the fat part of the candle at the bottom, not the wick, the lower wick. It closed at the fat part of the candle right there. And if it goes up again, that could also be another good place to set it, because it had a close in that area here and here. So this could become someday a level of support again. But at least my double top chart pattern, which could have yielded down tremendously, did not develop. So what we're looking at now is possibly lower highs, lower lows, maybe one more round to fill out Elliott wave 5. So that's one more down, hopefully not to here. But like I say, there's no support in this area until here. There's no support at all right in this area, only to here. And it hit that, so maybe that's it. There's support here. It bounced. There was support here. At that low, it bounced a couple of times. But I'm not seeing it. Bitcoin might have a clearer one. There was support there. It's below it. No support at all until right here. I don't expect it to go down that far, but it surely could. Weekly chart is still looking pretty bad. And, being down 7.23% on Bitcoin and 7.98% just 13 hours into the week. Not a good start to the week. Okay. We're just going to leave it on the 15-minute chart. I'm going to do some things. It's early morning here. I got animals to feed and stuff to do, so I'll just leave it running. The question is, are we going to see rejection at the middle Bollinger Band showing more weakness, or are we actually going to show a 7 yellow moving average up through the dotted white 20 moving average for the first time pretty much on this chart since here, but you can't see that too well. Shows up better here. 7 up through the 20, and then it's pretty much weakness after that. Okay, so I would like to see one more little pullback and then a breakout to new highs above here and here and here, because we got a little inverse head and shoulders forming here. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, with a nice kind of almost hammer, perfect hammer there, candlestick. Nice signal bottoms, especially on huge volume. Okay, but we haven't formed the right shoulder yet, which would mean a dip down to about here, and then a breakout to new highs above this. Not new highs, but to get above this level of resistance and actually start moving up to the upper Bollinger Band for the first time in many, many, many hours. But again, we're getting rejection here. Turn down, which is what I kind of want to see. It would be best if huge volume would come in and just send it flying right now. But retail is scared right now. They want to make sure the bottom is in before they buy. And after a big shakeout like this, like on Flash Crash, Bitcoin Day in El Salvador, launch day, and our Cardano launch day of smart contracts, they also flash crashed it that day to make our make that look bad. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and put some buy signals up here on the 15-minute chart. CCI above 0 for the first time in hours. That's bullish. Okay, that one's set, and Bitcoin still hasn't quite done it yet. He's at minus, he was at -3. Okay, this could be another rejection at the middle Bollinger Band like this, just a peak above it and then a drop. But I'm looking at the volume here, and it's not really increasing on the, it's going down on the green bars, but I mean, this is still huge volume. If the green bars were increasing instead of going down right here, we'd be seeing a much nicer move to the upside. But this one here could get rejected immediately if we have resistance at the middle Bollinger Band again for the 10th time in a row. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the sixth time here. Okay, so we're watching. I'd like to see some really big green volume, something extraordinary. And then that would send it to the upper Bollinger Band here. And that would signal the turn for sure from down to up. Right now we're trying. Okay, we're at a critical point. It's either rejection at the middle Bollinger Band, back down to test that low, or a run to the upper Bollinger Band to signal the turn. When the 7 moving average crosses up through the 20, that would be a go sign for up. Now I usually enter right after the 7 moving average turns up, before the price crosses up through the 20 moving average. This is the sweet spot. Once this 7 goes up and crosses, it'll be too late by about half an hour. I mean, it's still a good entry, but the object is to buy as close as you can to the bottom here. Okay, so if I entered right now because of this buy signal, where would I set my stop loss? Okay, the way I do it is I pick the first red candle, and then I look at the closing price. Okay, this is open, high, low, close, up how many dollars are down, and what percentage up or down. Okay, so I pick the first red candle, and then I pick the close of 3002.69, and that's where I refuse. See, I'm in right here at 30.23 as soon as it breaks above the 7 moving average. Okay, so that would be right here at about 30.25, let's say. Okay, so if I exit on this candle at the close, 3002 or 3, okay, I'm only going to lose about $20 on this trade because I buy one full ETH. So each dollar goes up or down, I make or lose $1. Okay, so Bitcoin should be, he's lagging a little. ETH is leading the way here, just barely, but, and volume is starting to increase now. So this is starting to look good for the bulls. Volume here, not so much. But it looks like the sellers are done, and it's taking a little less volume to get it to move north again, because there's no big sellers, and it's taking less buy volume to move it easier because there's no big sellers. So it looks like the shorts have covered with all the huge red volume. They're going long. Or they're going to short the heck of it out of it again right here. But with this buy volume on Bitcoin, you know, we're seeing a lot of green here, and it's increasing. We're almost to the buy signal here. The ETH one is working from 0. It's up 20 now. If volume falls off right now, down we go again. That's just how it goes. We're going to have rejection at the middle Bollinger Band again if volume does not continue to increase. which could signal that the shorts started covering, and this is just them finishing their covering, their buying. You buy to cover a short position, and then that's it. They've made their money and they go away. And now it's up to, if institutions are gone for the day for a while anyway, it's left to retail, and the retail sector just got shaken. They're scratching their heads going, do I buy here? I'm scared. No, let's see what happens first. So volume's going to fall off unless the institutions really want to run it. And I'm not seeing that right now. I'm seeing, well, we're only 1 minute in, about 2 minutes into this candlestick on a 15-minute chart, so it's a little too early to tell. But I'm not seeing, see, the CCI is a momentum indicator, and I'm not seeing any momentum right now. I'm just seeing a oversold bounce. Wow, where'd the volume go, folks? It's looking like the shorts just covered and no retail is buying. Okay, that signal doesn't belong on this chart. But let's see, where does it belong? Buy signal right here. Up through minus 100 from below it. Right about there. Okay, the sweet spot is right here. As soon as it gets above the 7, before it crosses up through the 20. Okay, so you entered right here. It pulled back. It went a little bit below the buy price. But then this volume right here would have kept me in. Okay. Since I entered right here, my stop, where I would not let it go below, well, that's a tough one. Way down here at the close of that candle? No. Use the 2.5% rule on that one, maybe. I don't like to let it go below my buy. That might have stopped me out, but I would have been right back in with the 7 crossing up through the 20. As a day trader, I can trade in and out 100 times a day. But this is starting to look bullish here. Okay. But unfortunately, we're dropping below plus 100 here. This candlestick is almost over. Look down here. It's got about 15 seconds left before a new 5-minute candle shows up. And look at the volume, it's pretty weak. Okay, and CCI dropping below plus 100 is a sell signal. So the profits on this one would have been from here. I would be taking profits. Okay, almost dropping below plus 100. That was a pretty good run. So where was I in? With 1F, I'm in just above the 7 moving average at, let's say, 3,000. No, that's probably too high. Whatever, 3,000 to 3,090. So, yeah, that was a $90 score. I'm still in it because he hasn't really closed below the plus 100 yet. And that would be a close below the 7 moving average also. So this is what it looks like when they run it slowly. It's kind of low volume without retail participating that much. I'm sure a lot of people are buying right now, though. It's starting to turn around nicely here. See, we're a dip below plus 100 and then a rise above it. Like it was above here and then it dipped below and then it rose above. That was also another buy a minute. It was going to go back up. So we're getting, you know, we're getting that now, but volume falling off. But the bottom line is I am calling the bottom here. There shouldn't be any more drop like a rock cliff diving action. Boy, these charts are slow. Okay. We're finally getting... Okay, there was the primary buy signal. We got the secondary right here. Above zero. That's nice. That means I'm going to go up for sure this time, depending on volume. But we're also getting a buy signal here on Bitcoin. Finally. The first one was here. Remember, earlier in the video I mentioned the bullish divergence where the CCI gets higher. The lows are getting higher as the price is dumping. The primary buy signal comes right here when it gets above plus 100, minus 100, sorry. And the secondary buy signal comes right here when it gets above zero, which it barely is right now. But it's running on the 5-minute chart. That would have been a good day trade. But I'm looking to enter a swing trade position now, since I'm all cash. So let's see what these two signals do. See, it's still at an area where it could be rejected at the middle Bollinger Band. And it's all about volume now. What is it going to be? Buy volume, sell volume. See, this one just went red. Okay, it's back above zero, but on this 15-minute chart, in order for to be sure that it's bottom, this price needs to go up to the upper Bollinger Band at least once, especially from a nice distance like that. If it takes too long, the price, upper BB is going to be falling. So in like half an hour, this might be where it's at, and that's going to be resistance. So the sooner it makes that move up there with the bigger volume, the better. And I'm not seeing that, so this could be just another oversold bounce to the middle Bollinger Band and not a true rally. Though the 5-minute chart is looking pretty sweet. There's the inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. The breakout above this kind of level of resistance. Hasn't really done it yet, but it's a bullish chart pattern. It didn't form the right shoulder on F. It kind of needs to drop to almost this low and then break out to highs above here, and then it can go. I'm also on the wrong time frame here. Okay, it looks like a little pullback is coming. Hopefully, okay, if it pulls back to the middle Bollinger Band and bounces again, breaks out to new high, we have definitely turned the corner and are headed back up. Or sideways, depending on the volume. But this huge drop, you know, it's over, folks. Don't panic. I don't think it's going to break below this low anytime soon. Like I mentioned, and I say it every time I talk, the cartel's goal is to make these charts look bad, make retail bail, steal all of their stop loss limit orders. Oh, I'm not going to let it drop below here. I'm going to keep that much money, you know, and boom, there it goes. It takes that one out. All of this support on a closing basis here and here, and then all the lower wicks here and here. And by doing so, any stop limit sell order has been picked up by the institutions. You'll never get them back. well, you can buy back. There'll always be coins, but they're slowly accumulating the majority of coins, and they already rule the roost and can manipulate at will. Okay, has the fall finished? Yeah, pretty much for now, I think. But is it time to buy? Not yet. It might take a couple of days before I enter a swing trade now, depending on what happens. You know, after a big fall like this, you want to see a couple of days of stability. You know, you don't want any more down. You want a little doji like here, just some kind of candlestick that says, well, we're not going up, but we're not going down. Bulls didn't win, bears aren't winning. It's kind of a stalemate, and then retail will begin to realize that this might be a good time to buy since they're not dropping it anymore. And if you look from the low of the day at the bottom of this wick, we're getting a nice bounce. So a lot will depend on what the shape of today's candlestick is. Okay. I mean, who knows? It could rally and close green, just barely green. And that would have been an awesome buying opportunity. Okay, these candles are not... My arrows aren't really working on the longer term chart, so let's shorten them up. I think these are meant for the 15-minute chart. That is correct. Okay. Not working. This one is now gone. That was a failed buy signal. We're down below. We're turning down from zero again. Like here. A little pop above, drop. You know. Same thing here. We're back below zero, so I'm taking that one down. It looks like just another bounce to the middle Bollinger Band area and another. Okay, so a drop. I just mentioned that. And one more drop and then a breakout would be good. A drop and a break below here, or especially here, would be very much to the more downside. Okay, so you had some profits on this first move, but not much. And this is where you take them. You're up a little bit from the buy right here. The buy was at 30, 20, and the sell is at 30.70. So you made $50 in 45 minutes with one full ETH. Let's just take a look at the weekly before I go grab some more coffee. Each candlestick is a 1 week here, and we're down 7% on the week for Bitcoin on the first day of the week, and 7.5% on ETH. I'm going to load up my other chart. It takes me a while to configure it. That I'll run through all the altcoins I like next and see if... I'm sure they also went with the movements of this day. We're getting a pretty good bounce off the day's low. And volume. Okay, that's the kind of volume you want to see at a bottom. A lot of it was, this is 4 hours ago. I mean, it's a 4-hour candle. And what you're seeing here is the shorts covering and then going long after they took all your coins. Stop loss here, here, and here. So all they have to do is drop below that price, any of these lows, and they trigger the stop losses, which means you sell to them, and they are accumulating and will be as much as possible. I don't set stop losses. I trade manually. I don't trust them because on the flash crash, I heard some of my buddies had said they got passed by. They had stop losses in, but the fall was so fast it went right by them. And that happens. The only time I set a stop loss is if I'm sleeping. And that's only on a swing trade, of course. My holds, I don't care. I got Bitcoin and started mining Bitcoin at the beginning of last year. And the price there was, I think, under $1,000. Here's 2020. Even at the low, oh, it was 4,000. That's right, it was F. That was very low, like $600 or something. $100, yeah, and there was the 3s and there was the 6s right near the end of the year, and then wham, 4,400. All right, back to the day. And I think my signals are on the 15-minute chart. Yeah. Okay, we're getting rejected on the 15-minute chart again. There it is, the fake buy signal right here. Rejection at the middle Bollinger Band again and again and again and again and again. You made a little bit of profit on that trade, but that was a day trade. I'm not entering a swing position until they show much more signs of strength on this chart, which means a move to the upper Bollinger Band that it can't seem to quite get through its head yet. So we wait. Looks like another down move coming. Because, why? Low volume equals down. This is going to be a very low 15-minute period. Look at the volume with only 9:19, 20, about 10 minutes to go on that particular candle. And if volume doesn't get much higher than that, we're going down hard. We need some buyers right now, but retail is scared. My cord out. Make sure the sound is still working. Okay, looking good. Yeah, we're not getting the volume we need to go up here, so it's going to go down. I don't think the shorts are going to pile in here again for another drop. They've already had their fun for the day and covered and made a ton of money just in time for America to wake up. So I don't know who it is that runs them at 4 in the morning or starts the drop at about that time. Obviously Europe, or could be even Asia, China. Okay, I just mentioned a little while ago this drop to form the right shoulder on the inverse head and shoulders chart pattern. It drops, sets the first shoulder, or the left shoulder, goes up a little, goes down hard. This is the head. Then it goes up and goes down again to form the right shoulder. So a cross up here through zero and a break above this high right here would be very bullish. And I think we would start heading north again with some good volume. But like I said, retail is scared right now after that big move down. They're not sure, they're not going to continue it. I'm pretty sure it's done for the day. But you can't really be sure. Volume, a whale could step in here, or a group of them, and just trash us again. If you're long. In case you haven't noticed, I speak only of going up. I love going up. I believe in coins. I don't like the manipulation the institutional investors are throwing at us now. Moving the market at will, pretty much. They have enough coins, enough money to do it already, and they're just getting more every day with every shakeout. Like they just shook the tree real hard, and all the weak leaves fell out today. That's all the weak holders, all the people that said, I will not let it go below this price. I'm going to set a stop loss limit order and protect my account. And they might be up. They might be, way up. But, to wake up and Bitcoin $5,000 down, and one guy says he lost $10 million on the $10,000 drop on Bitcoin on El Salvador Bitcoin launch day. And so today's down 5 million because Bitcoin dropped $5,000 today. That's insane. From a high of 47, 8, let's say 48 to 42. Yikes. He owns stock in Rolaids. I don't know. I couldn't handle that kind of pressure, man. Okay, it really hasn't moved much in a while, which is actually good. That means the bleeding has stopped. We were down like, 8%. I think we were down almost 10% on the week, first day of the week. Really doesn't look that bad on the weekly yet. It will look bad if CCI drops below zero, though. That's going to look real ugly. We'll be down a lot by then. Okay, so we're getting a good bounce off the low today. I mean, look at the bounce on Flash Crash Day. I mean, it dropped 10,000 and rose about 4 or so, I think it was. And today it's dropped 5,000 and we're up maybe 1,000 almost, 42, 350, 43, yeah. Oh no, 1,100. Which is it's not even a 33% bounce yet. If you do Fibonacci retracement tool, it gives you all that. I don't use it too complicated. I like to keep things simple. So, yeah, rejected at the middle Bollinger Band again. Volume falling off. Only 5 minutes on this 15-minute candle, and volume is weak, especially on F. That's not good. Okay, things are improving here, folks. Remember I said I need to pull back to form the right shoulder? Well, that's good enough. And a breakout to new highs. Alright, we're getting a CCI breakout here a little bit, where it was just above this high. So now it's below it, but when this CCI breaks above here and volume picks up, okay, this is a buy signal right here. Being above zero, generally speaking. Now, it's even better when it breaks above this high, but I already put one here and it failed, but it looks like it's going to fail again. Let's check it out, though. Let's see what this looks like on the chart. No. Okay. See, the problem is volume is falling off. There's no bigger green volume. It's starting to be red. Now, it is above zero. It's above the 7. The 7's trying to cross up through the 20 moving average. Bitcoin looks a little better, getting some green volume here, but he needs this candle that just started 45 seconds ago. Yeah, it's 9:30. New candle right there. And it needs to break out above this high on these two candles with some volume. And hit that upper Bollinger Band, which is still coming down fast now, limiting the potential upside. But it still would be a sign that is bullish to break above, right now, these two upper wicks of the candle, right here, break out above here on F, okay, at 30.97, or the high. Okay, look up here, this is the high of that candle. Okay, so it's got to get above 30.93.22 with some volume. And then it'll go up and hit the upper Bollinger Band. And then we have turned the corner from a huge drop to not going down for sure, not really going up much if you look at the longer term charts, but the drop is over. Okay, this is going to signal a moment of bullishness for once from all the way from the fall. The last time it hit the upper Bollinger Band was right here. And it did, it was here. It looks like it hit it there too. Okay, but on a green candle, the last one was up here. And we haven't seen the upper Bollinger Band since. And now this one comes down again, because I'm just going to change color to something not green. A little, not quite red yet, but caution. It's failing. It's below zero again. Maybe that right shoulder isn't quite formed yet. It really needs to go down and test this low, but put it in a little higher, like right here. And then the breakout above here, and we're on the way up again for sure. I'm not liking the diminishing volume, which usually yields to the downside, to attract buyers at a lower price that they believe is a better deal, cheaper, however they want to look at it, to make themselves feel better. Yeah. But we are definitely not seeing any momentum, any volume, any quick moves towards the upside. Signaling, kind of still weak. The huge drop is over, but there still could be some more downside here. Okay, I'm going to be working on my other chart to look at the other coins. See how they did on this drop. Pretty sure they all followed as usual. So I'll be back in a little while. Okay, volume is down. Diminishing volume, not good if you want it to go up. CCI on ETH just went negative again, below zero. It looks like, closing below the 7 moving average and below zero on the CCI sends it lower. On a 15-minute chart, we got about 3 minutes left on this candle. And again, it's starting to look like rejection at the middle Bollinger Band and the zero line of the CCI again. Okay, I got my other chart lined up, ready to go. I'm taking requests in chat. I am here, if you want to chat with me. Okay, let's go look at the rest of these. We already know what these charts look like. Alright, we don't need... This is kind of in the way. Let's get rid of these. Okay, let's start with the weekly chart. Okay, we know it's a bad week for Bitcoin. We're going to compare these. We're just going to run down the line and look at the charts and see how they differ, or are they the same? Okay. Pretty much the same there. ADA, pretty much the same. XRP below $1 at 93.3. Oh my goodness. Didn't think we'd see below $1 on XRP again. Doge looks a little weaker. Litecoin pretty much looks the same. ERG as usual is strong, but he's way off his $19 high. Algo was a big one. Pulling back. We're all seeing red this week. Don't expect any of these to be green. Okay. Let's try the daily. Work our way back up the chart. This is covalent. CQT. I can only hold this in Hong Kong at CoinEx or some other place not in America. Same thing with the graph, the Google of the blockchain. The graph is going to be pretty awesome. Okay, he's looking, first of all, no, we need to look at Bitcoin first. Yeah, huge volume. Wow. CCI, okay, let me make one quick change here so you can see these numbers better. Okay, and alright, I believe that's all I need. Okay, huge volume. Even bigger than Flash Crash Day. Wow. It was down 10,000 from the high to the low there, and this is only 5,000 down. But, breaking below all this support, yeah. A lot of stop loss limit orders got triggered today, again. ETH looks identical, I would think, yeah. ADA, pretty much the same. XRP, same. Doge, a little lower. Litecoin looks identical. Yep, 2 days down there. ERG did not break below its old low here, where everything else is, except Algorand. And Chainlink, it also broke below the lows on Flash Crash Day. Raven, identical. GRT, yep, broke below. CQT does its own thing, pretty much. It's the only one on this list that is not marginable by 3, 5, or 10 times. Oh boy, Oh God, whenever they invented that stuff, they were trying to make money. It's not for your benefit to offer you margin. You lose most of the time. They only did that to create new trading vehicles so that they could make money and stop you out and take all your coins. They're closing accounts right and left, or positions right and left on that margin. A bunch of them got wiped out today. Okay, let's take a look at the hourly chart for Bitcoin. Okay, let's start looking at these buy signals down here, because as the price is falling, I'm seeing a bullish divergence where the CCI is at a low here. The price is much lower here, but the CCI is up. And the price is much lower here, but the CCI is up. So the buy signal on the hourly chart comes when it rises above minus 100. Very close to it. And I forgot to change one other thing on this chart. That's a yellow line. I like to keep things the same. It's easier to see that way. Okay, so Bitcoin at 107 minus. ETH at getting the buy signal here at minus 98.74. ADA got a buy a while ago right here. What happened to that? He rose above minus 100 on this candle. You're in at the high, 209. He's up to 219. Okay, that worked. XRP. ADA is always stronger than